get stuck, and they could be here for months. It's all hands on deck in Nick and Joe's loading yard. The biggest incentive to risk this trip is to help this couple, 500 kilometres away. Nick and Joe are loading up the new generator that will bring Joy and her family relief in the far northwest. Nick and Joe are watching the road deteriorate in front of them. A storm's been through.
You start to wonder what the rest of the road will be like further up.
Up ahead, a slight rise.
Get out of this bit, I don't want to be rain sitting in here.
But with 70 tonnes of truck in these conditions, any gradient is going to be a massive challenge.
Just got to get up that little rise.
Get stuck, and they could be here for months.
You might be just sitting here for a little bit.
Yeah.
The remote camping ground they're carrying vital supplies to seems further away than ever.
It's not like we're bogged to the arse, we're just in a centimetre of grease.
The drive wheels spinning uselessly in the black clay mud. They may as well be on ice.
It's not going to go anywhere.
They're in luck. While Nick spends a lot of time cursing tourists, sometimes they come in handy.
Just tell him to take up the slack.
It's a tug of war, and the 50-tonne truck is winning. At last, some traction, and Nick's finally out of trouble. Over one hurdle, and on to the next.
This bloody rain's coming in pretty quick.
A nasty black soil bog. To get through, Nick needs to gun it.
Oh, no, girl. Dirty bastard. Might have to do a bit of shoveling on this one here, I think.
Not real pretty, this one. You just get out of one and then you end up in another, so stuck again.
Overhead is another worry.
The afternoon storm will be here in the next hour or two and we won't be out of this by then, I don't think so.
Why don't we just get a shovel some of that mud out of them wheels, and it wants to move. This is like mud bill pulling us up. Relax.
This is how messed up this weather is. It's freezing up there, big rain coming, the ground's burning the soles off my feet, and it's Swampsville back here, so we just need to dig all that sticky, horrible mud out from in front of the tyres.
If it rains here, this will just fill up with water, and if it starts pissing down rain, I'm just going to have to see if I can unhook it, and we're going to get bloody rain here.
Just getting blacker and blacker since we've pulled up here.
Sticky crap, you can't use a shovel in it.
It's a great way to wreck a day. It's going to rain any minute.
Watch out there, Joanna, I'll just see if it's going to move at all.
Check out, that is disgusting. Disgusting.
Rightio, dear, we better crack it, look.
We better. You want a bit of water?
No, it's going to rain here in about 20 minutes. And absolutely bucket down. We're not going to make it to Plumree, you know that.
I know.
Next day, Honeymoon Bay. And a warm greeting from a very grateful family. Nick and Joe can finally deliver the brand new generator.
Come down a bit and crowd it back.
One that will power up their air conditioner and make life in the tropical north bearable. A road building crew are putting the finishing touches to a stretch of Outback track. The Black Cat contractors have finished the job and are moving on.
It's 85 kilometres to the next job site, which is a little community of Arayonga. There we're extending an airstrip for the Royal Flying Doctor Service.
building roads, or in this case, airstrips, is a massive undertaking, requiring a mountain of gear. And when you're in the middle of nowhere, the only way to do it is bring everything with you, which makes the task of moving it all almost as big as the task itself. 8 accommodation units, a toilet block, a camp kitchen and mess, generators and machinery. It's up to remote trucking specialist Brad Duckworth to shift it all.
Big house move, yeah. Fortunately, we don't have to pack all the furniture into the boxes. It's already done.
Making the job tougher, Brad's route is in bad shape. And with every pass of his road train, it'll deteriorate more. Brad's got 6 days to pack up the camp, drive the 900 kilometres total distance, and unload it all.
So we just received word that we haven't received the permits yet. So every piece of equipment we have to move out there, we need a permit for to put it on the Aboriginal land.
No permits means no go. Thankfully, the one permit he does have is for the building he's just loaded.
Yeah, that's it for now. We'll just sort of have to wait and see, and wait for the permits to come through.
And the complications don't end there. The trailer for the loader doesn't have the right coupling to be towed behind Brad's other trailers. Before he can unload, he'll have to come back and collect his loader separately.
We have to ferry it backwards and forwards in between each run. Righto, let's go check out what this road's like.
To move an entire workers' camp, Brad needs to tackle this stretch 10 times, damaging the road more with each pass.
Yeah, it's starting to chop up a bit through here. I just unhook the trailers and drop them here. It'll be the best spot to leave them for tonight till I get back in the morning with this loader.
Before he can unload the building, Brad needs his loader. That means a return trip across the bumps. Again. Next morning, Brad's collected his loader and is heading back to the airstrip. As predicted, the road has deteriorated. But as he closes in on the new campsite, an old worry is weighing on his mind.
Hopefully the Land Council permits and all come through shortly so we can get a bit of a crack on with it.
Without the permits, Brad can't move any more gear. And now, more dramas.
Run a bit tight to that other trailer there. I'll just have to get out and check it. Hit bend it all. The whole thing. Scratched me trailer. Here's what it is now. I'll have to unravel it all and get back around out of the road.
The worst of the damage is this bent mudguard, pressing into the tyre. One problem fixed.
Yeah, it's better, eh?
Now Brad needs to check he has clearance to move the rest of the camp.
Yeah, well, what's to go? These any sign of these permits come through yet, or? Still nothing, eh?
Without the permits, the community of Arayonga will have to keep waiting for their new airstrip. For Brad, it's just part of being an Outback trucker. 26-year-old trucker Josh Beattie is scrambling to load for a big contract. 2 trailers worth of gas drill casings. The casings are urgently needed 900 kilometres away to line a gas well in Moomba in the Cooper Basin. Josh has reached the small outpost of Lyndhurst, gateway to the Strzelecki track. Time to head into the unknown. It doesn't take long before Josh's first hazard appears. Superfine dust, known as bull dust.
There's no wind to blow the dust away, so it just hovers.
And now the car coming the other way. Visibility, 0.
Best thing you can do is just wipe your speed off and slow right down until you got clear visibility.
Just months ago, a similar set of events led to a serious crash.
There was an accident caused by someone driving in the dust, and yeah, it wasn't a head-on, it was a rear end. But yeah, not good. Everyone survived luckily, but yeah, rode a truck off.
Josh is starting to feel the pressure of his deadline.
We got to get this product there sort of sooner rather than later, because it's got to go out to the rig to get drilled in the ground, and they're waiting for it. And but we can't rush either, because if we smash the truck or break down, we won't make it at all.
Right on cue, a section of road littered with potholes. Filled with bull dust, they're nearly impossible to see.
If you hit one, the worst thing that could happen, you could roll your truck over, because you don't know how deep they're going to be until you've actually committed and you're in it. So yeah, the road's deteriorated quite a bit since we dropped down into the basin here.
And now, soft sand.
When I hit the sandy patches or the softer bits, you can just feel that extra drag go on instantly. As soon as you drop into it, it feels like you've had another trailer hooked on the back here.
It's a fine line. Too fast and he could break something. Too slow and he could get bogged.
Hit the soft spots with enough speed to get to the other side, but then you don't want to hit it too fast and, yeah, damage your vehicle.
Up ahead, an especially bad section marked with hazard signs. Josh doesn't have the speed he needs.
Yeah, lost the momentum. I just slowed down too much.
Safely clear of one bad patch. But the atrocious conditions are eating into his schedule.
Now I've contacted the site where we're unloading. I've committed to get it off this afternoon.
Josh's load is also coming under fire. Pipes sliding backwards and forwards. Push too hard and he might lose more than just his deadline.
Yeah, we've got a vehicle approaching. I don't know if it's a car or a truck. It's extra dust.
Did you get a bit soft about 3k ahead of you there, mate?
No worries, thanks, I'll wait.
It's the last thing that Josh expected to hear in the desert. Mud ahead.
So we go from running through bull dust holes now to running through muddy holes. The terrain changes so quickly. Oh, always nervous, but yeah, you just get used to it. You just keep tackling what's ahead. It's gone downhill real quick, hasn't it? The roads get quite soft here. Yeah, it was fairly soft, but I just had to put the boot into it and get the bloody truck through it.
At last, a welcome sight. The Moomba processing plant. Last step, offload at the plant and stack his trailers for the return journey.
Yeah, well, I better pack this show up pretty quick smart and start heading back for home, because I'm heading overseas soon, and yeah, got to get back to bloody get on the plane and all good now.
Steve Graham is preparing for one of the longest journeys of his fabled 40-year career. Steve's tackling two of Australia's most notorious dirt roads, the Great Central and the Tonne. And taking on both back to back. Going on the back, 2 trailer loads of house frames for a remote Aboriginal community in Central Australia.
Unload this load and then we're going to put a container of all things furniture, beds and cupboards and things to take up the bloody Tonne road, which is not without its challenges. We're on the road with this load. We're going Outback Trucking, anything can happen. Feels just like it did the last time I was on here. Shaky.
Double, what's this one, mate?
Well, the news from the grader dropped. Oh, shit. Oh, I can't be out of here. That was a big rock in the middle of the windrow.
Veteran trucker Steve Graham's in trouble. He fears a rock has damaged an axle. He's deep in desert country. Help is days away. The only person Steve can rely on is himself. Any serious damage and the nearest mechanic is 600 kilometres away.
We got lucky with that rock. Everything's looking all right so far.
His luck needs to hold. A critical job waits for him back in Perth, 3,000 kilometres away. But the Tannemai's not done with him yet.
I've got oil wetness inside this wheel hub, which indicates to me that I have a wheel seal failure or possibly a front wheel bearing.
This wheel steers his entire truck. If it gives out on the road, the consequences could be disastrous.
I can't, in my own mind, load this road train up. You blow this thing. Best case scenario, you blow this thing, you've got a blown out tyre and a buggered front axle. Worst case scenario, I don't even want to dwell on. There's no metal in that oil. That's good. That's good. If that wheel bearing was chopping itself to pieces, this oil would have shiny particles in it. I'll simply top up the oil on this hub and keep an eye on it.
He may be on the smooth bitumen, but now Steve has to deal with traffic. And some of the biggest on the road.
Your whole driving attitude changes when you get down south. You've got to stay focused. And we don't want any bingles.
This 5.5 metre wide load eats up most of the bitumen.
It's a bit of a hold up, but
Steve's in the hands of the pilots, one behind and one a kilometre ahead. It's their job to guide passing traffic around safely. Finally, Steve gets the chance to pass.
those big ones take a bit of getting around, but we do it pretty safely with all talking to each other.
He's on the home stretch.